What's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog. So let's get to it. I say I'm gonna take some time off, y'all.
All the cashiers, they was like, somebody stole her truck. It's like you can hear it all throughout the store.
This Rox coming to you today with a review for Love and Marriage Detroit, Love and Marriage Huntsville, our book 4, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's get to it, shall we? All right, you guys, so first story up, let's talk about Jeannie and Jeezy. Boy, I was reading this story the other day, and I was like, boy, these niggas will make a fool out of you every single time, child. I'm going to stop defending folks. I'm just going to stop. I'm just going to wait and see, because every single time I step out there and say, oh, but I really like this person, and then shit like this come out. And then I didn't name the damn studio after Jeezy. Okay, I named the studio. This is Young Jeezy, but I'm feeling like I'm gonna need to change the name because I can't be this. And I know it's still nobody's been found guilty, or nobody has, we don't know for a fact, but let me just tell you what didn't happen. So you guys know that Jeezy and Jeannie is getting a divorce, right? Remember, we was surprised, at least I was. A lot of people weren't, but I was surprised because I was just like, oh, they seemed like they was, doing very well. They were a relationship that got started during the pandemic, and they kind of sheltered together and, got very close, and he was close to her family and all that, and they looked like they were in love and happy. And next thing you know, I was thinking that Jeezy, while I had heard some things about his temperament and whatnots in the past, I thought maybe he had grown up and changed his ways. But I know a lot of people are like, honey, no, zebra don't change his stripes, But I just was seeing it that way. I'm hopeful. I always try to give people, the benefit of the doubt. I always feel like folks deserve second chances and all this. And so then they got married, and then she was pregnant. And, I knew that had to be a big step out on faith, because the girl had already told us that she didn't want to have kids. That was the reason why she had broke up from her first husband, because he wanted kids and she didn't, and I felt like Jeezy had made her comfortable enough in their relationship to actually feel like she could be a good mother to somebody. So I was just thinking that, everything was great. And then next thing we know, child, out the blue, we find out that Jeezy was the one that filed for divorce, And I was like, what? Who knew? Okay. And of course, a lot of people was out there, oh, I knew. And I was like, well, maybe it was some cultural differences. We knew that Jeannie was very close to her mother and her brother, and that they were very involved in their relationship and all that. And I was thinking that maybe, the way that, what is she, Vietnamese? The way that this whatever Asian culture that she's a part of, whatever Asian race she is, Asian nationality that she is, maybe it just was hard for her to gel with, somebody that's from Atlanta, Georgia, so I was kind of thinking that it was something like that. But child, I never thought that it was going to get to these claims of abuse. All right. And I don't think that we would have heard about these claims of abuse had Jeezy not tried to take that baby from her. Okay. And that's kind of seems like, it was getting to be contentious anyway. But at first, when the news first came out, she was just like, I was blindsided. They was going to therapists. They was trying to work things out and all that. And I was like, it is a new marriage. It is a difference in culture. They both probably have their own baggage. So again, I'm still thinking, maybe they was going to the therapist and they were just trying to work on trying to get to understand each other better and all that. Child, once that man filed the paperwork trying to get that baby full-time, like full custody, and then a week or two later, he decided to pull that back out and say, no, he wasn't going to try to get, that's when I was just like, oh, this is about to get ugly. Because anytime a man tries to take a baby away from the mother, a baby girl from the mother, and this mother is not abusive, then no. Okay, and any mother who feels threatened like that and like, oh, nigga, you gonna try to take my child from me? Okay, we can't, even though we started to hear that she wanted to have like, what is it, not full custody. Yeah, I think she was trying to get, was it full custody, or they were trying to do joint custody, but then she was having some issues with safety. And I even talked about it here. You know, she was talking about the guns and all that, and I even said something pretty sarcastic and was just like, girl, you knew who he was when you got married with him. And nigga had guns before y'all got married. Now, but now that I'm looking back at that, I'm just like, okay, that still was not the correct response to it, because yeah, even if she did know it, now the problem is he's still leaving these damn guns out while the kids is out. I mean, the kid is around, you know, that's not safe. But yeah, once he tried to take that baby, once he tried to take the baby and then he decided not to, that's when all of the other shit came out. That's when she started putting out her stories, what has happened between the two of them in the court paperwork. And so there are a number of things that have happened where he allegedly had abused her, domestic violence, okay? And they're all in the court paperwork. One of them being when they were out here for the Atlanta mayor's ball, and she said they got into a confrontation in the car. He wouldn't let her out, or she was trying to get out, and he grabbed the back of her dress and scratched her back. There was another incident when they were in San Francisco at the Ritz-Carlton. They got into some kind of argument. He pushed her down the stairs. He choked her from behind, and all this. And apparently the hotel said, see, this is where I was just like, okay, this might not be allegedly. If the hotel staff saw it and also wrote up a report. Okay, now we can't just go by he say, she say. Now it's a fucking report out there, you guys. There are other people. I mean, you're doing this enough for around people out in public, which means that if it's a hotel and it's a hotel like Ritz-Carlton, I am positive they got cameras everywhere in there, you know, even though they may have been in there because they were like on the stairs or an elevator or escalator, I'm sorry, or something like that. But, you know, in the hotel ended up writing a report that corroborates exactly what she said, you know, that she didn't feel safe, that the hotel staff had to stay with her, that he had pushed her down the stairs and all this, okay, and that he had choked her. And so then I was just like, oh my God, Jeezy, really? You guys, this is something that I have never been I've never been involved in, like, in violence, domestics. I've never had a boyfriend that hits me or anything, because I'm telling you, the minute I am scary. You guys already know I don't fight. Like, I'm scary. I don't be trying to get on people's bad sides. I don't be trying to say shit about people. I don't do none of that, because I already know that I'm scary. I'm not gonna fight, you know, and that so I don't even go there with a person. If a person shows any kind of tendency like that, I'm out. Okay, and I might have dated a guy or two that was just, you know, had temper problems and shit, and then I was just like, no, I can't fuck with you because you crazy, you know. So it is hard for me to understand how people will not only stay with a person, but then have kids with a person. I know that it's the whole domestic violence, the whole syndrome, the whole way of thinking, you know, battered wives and all. I get all that. It's just like, you know, and then still continue to want to work it out. You know, like, I'm just so disappointed. I'm so disappointed in him, you know, because I thought you was on your whole grown man thing, you know, and now in retrospect, when we think about him having an interview with Nia Long, you know, it's just like, okay, so that definitely was you getting ahead of this story, even though it didn't necessarily make sense to us back then. And now it makes all the sense in the world, because you knew that this shit was about to come, or it had a potential to come if you pissed Jeannie off enough. Okay. And, you know, so yeah, that, and another time they were in the car, he wouldn't let her out, and he punched her in the eye and made her, you know how you get the blood vessel pop in your eye, and it's, you know, so like, he's done some things to her, and you guys, I believe it. I believe it. And I hate that. I hate that for her. You know, because nobody deserves to get their ass beat. You know, we can disagree on a whole bunch of shit. you know, but why you got to hit me is what I'm saying. I hate that for her. You know, now there's this whole big fight, and, you know, he say, she say, and who people gonna believe and all that. But yeah, you guys, and again, they have witnesses. So even if there's not a witness for what happened when they were in the cars together, the fact that they were doing stuff like that at a, you know, a hoity-toity 5-star hotel, and other people around could have seen it, and that there is actually a report that was written that says, which I believe that all the other incidences that have happened as well. And I don't think any woman deserves that. Nobody deserves that, you know. So I just hate that. Of course, he has come out and said that this is a malicious attempt to tarnish my character and disrupt my family. It's ridiculous, he says. He's going to continue to fight for court-mandated joint custody. Joint custody, okay? He's changed it, but I just, man, I hate that. I hate that. I even was going to read his book, y'all. Now I'm just going to have to let it go. But, yeah, you guys let me know what you think about that. Do you believe the story that Jeannie Mai said? You know, we have heard things about Jeezy in the past, like I said. Not necessarily being the best father to the children that he already have. Okay, and I also even remember his relationship with Keisha Cole and all that back in the day. I really wanted it for them back then. But, you know, he wasn't ready, and it wasn't right for her at that time, and he might not ever be ready, you know. But they was trying to work it out, y'all. They was trying to work. That's the whole thing. They were going to therapists, and they were seeing their pastor, and they was doing, like, they wanted, I mean, at least she wanted to work. She wanted it to work, but I guess he just was like, this ain't working. I just wish that if it wasn't working, that he would have left before he felt like he needed to put his hands on her. Okay, yeah, But you guys let me know what you think about all of that. Next story. All right, you guys, this story I just read before I came out here. So there were 4 cops who were attempting to serve a warrant in North Carolina, in Charlotte. And they went to the house, and when they got there, the person that they were actually trying to serve the warrant to was outside. So when they approached him, he hurried up and went in the house. So when he went in the house, they realized that they, you know, need to set up the perimeter and try to make everything as safe as they could. And while they were doing that, the guy was inside the house. He was upstairs, and he ended up shooting from the windows upstairs and shot 8 cops that was down there on the ground. Okay, 4 of them were killed immediately. No, I think 3 of them were killed immediately. 1 died at the hospital later on that day, and then there were 4 that are like in stable condition. Okay, but he ended up shooting 8 cops that time. Then after he had shot them, he jumped out the window, jumped onto the awning, and then that's when the other police that were there ended up shooting and killing the suspect. Now, at first, they thought that it was 2 people. They thought it was 2 gunmen in the house because, you know, I guess the bullets were coming from different directions. But then they realized that, no, they thought that it was just the man and that he was going from room to room, like upstairs, and shooting from different windows. But inside the house were 2 women. One was 17 years old. But they, you know, once they figured everything was safe, they got the women out and they took them down to the police station. And I believe that they questioned them and didn't believe that they were also shooting, that it was just that one person that was shooting. And I don't know if that was his wife and daughter or girlfriend and her, you know, I don't know who the women were, but they don't believe that those women were shooting at the cops, that it was all him. The suspect that ended up getting killed, he was 39-year-old Terry Clark Hughes Jr. He was wanted for possession of a firearm by a felon and 2 counts of felony flee to elude out of Lincoln County. Okay. And it was just sort of like, they was going to serve a warrant to a person that has felony gun, like, you know, like, it seems like that wouldn't have been safe to begin with, you know. And when you serve a warrant, do you actually take that person to jail then, or are you just letting them know that they're on notice now and they have to come to court? You know, like if this person has all these guns, it seems like it wouldn't have, I don't know if I would want to be as a police. I mean, I guess they do this all the time. And they usually don't have these kind of problems, you know, but every now and then you'll get a person that is, you know, like about to go down in a blaze of glory and just shooting. I mean, the fact that this man jumped out the window onto the awning and doing all, like, you wanted to die. He obviously wanted to die and wanted to take as many police with him. But I don't know. It seems like they need to do these warrants a little differently, especially when it's involving somebody that already has problems with guns, you know, and now you going. I'm sure that's why there was such a police presence there. And then once he ran into the inside, I'm sure they called for backup and everything. And that's why there were even more police there. But yeah, that's terrible. That's unfortunate. But yeah, at least they did catch the person that did the original shooting. You know, prayers up for the families that did lose their loved ones there. Just awful. All right, you guys, next story, you have Ray J. I'm telling you, that Ray J ain't got a lick of fucking sense, y'all. I mean, just what is wrong with him? What's wrong with him? I'm starting to wonder about all of the people that was on Love and Hip Hop, you know, Mona's franchises. None of them really got the best sense, child. None of them. Now, Ray J's newest thing that he's in the news for is Mr. Ray J came on social media with a big ass, ugly ass tattoo on his face, and it's huge. It's taking up the whole one side of his face, and it was just sort of like, now what? And you know, and of course people was all just like, why would he do that? Why? First of all, King Sonya is not fixing to let this nigga go and get his face tatted up. Okay, y'all already know his mama don't play that shit. Y'all already know that Ray J he loves attention. He just always wants to be talked about. And I figured that tattoo wasn't real. And he's vain. He's a good-looking kid, a good-looking guy, and he's not going to just put no tattoo on his face like that. So I just figured it was a temporary tattoo. Turns out that it was a henna tattoo. You know, and you guys know henna, that eventually wears off. But, you know, henna will be on your skin for some days, you know, and then it wears off with time. But when people were so upset about him getting this shit on his face, you know, he was just like, I can't get it off. I tried to wash it off. Yeah, nigga, you can't wash it off. That's why it's called henna. It wears off as it comes out of your skin, you know. So he's just like, everybody has to wait and see. But like I said, Ray J just likes attention. Ray J just likes attention. Like, even if it's bad attention, it's just attention, period. And I know he's probably in some sort of a little bit of a tailspin because he's... That girl looks familiar. I feel like I know her. I'm at Panda. I'm about to run in here and get me something to eat in a minute. But it's this guy, and there's another kid walking down the street throwing up gang signs. He's just talking to himself. Y'all hear him? Child, anyway. I know Ray J don't really know what to do with himself now that him and Prinky look like this divorce is really going to happen. You know, we know that they back and forth for 4 times. They're getting a divorce, not getting a divorce. Getting a divorce, not getting a divorce. But now, it looks like this 4th time was a charm. And it looks like Prinky has moved on because I read that she was dating John Boyega. And I was like, okay, now this is something different. Like, John Boyega is a well-known, respected actor. Been in some good big movies. Like, this is a up from Ray J. You know, I guess Ray J probably would have been okay if she would have hooked up with some other reality star that, you know, the only claim to fame is the show. But now she's with somebody who could potentially, this could be a little bit more serious. You know, he said he seems like he's a cool guy. You know, Ray J is not one to just hate on a guy just like that. But I know that probably bothers him because I was just like, oh, okay, Prinky. They said they was at some concert together or something and he had his hand around her waist and all. So it is at least, you know, a little bit more serious than just friends. And so maybe that's why Ray J is just out here doing whatever. You know, maybe that's why. Because he don't know, he can't believe the fact that he done lost his girl, child. I don't know. But you guys have to let me know But did you guys see that tattoo? I was just like, oh my God, Ray J, go sit down. I'm telling you, that boy is just, And then lastly, you guys, speaking of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. So did you guys see that Carlos King is now, he's interviewing all of these stars from these reality show stars from like the Love and Hip Hop franchise. And now he done made it around to Bucky and her hair. Okay, mama named her Shay Johnson, child. But her name is Bucky and her hair here. All right. When I comment and when I be talking about her on social media or something, I always want to say Bucky and her hair. But I'm like, I know nobody else is going to even know what the hell I'm talking about. All right, but y'all know. So the latest interview that's going to be coming down the pike is him talking to Bucky and her hair. And I was just like, wow, who knew that she was that big enough of a story to even have an interview? But I guess because her name probably has been tossed around because he's had Mama D on there, he's had Erica on there, and he's had Bambi on there. So at least give Bucky and her hair a chance to say something as well. Okay, he even had Diamond on there. Okay, all of Scrappy's fucking harem. So yeah, Bucky and her hair is on there, and the clip that he posted is him talking about, or her talking about, how she ended up on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, and that she was approached. They asked her, did she want to be on the show? And she was just like, yeah. And they were like, do you know anybody else that could be on the show? And she said that her and Scrappy had just started kind of like seeing each other, that they had been friends for years, but she was in like some sort of domestic abuse relationship, and he helped her get out of it. And they were like best friends for some years, and then they made the mistake of sleeping with each other, and then, the rest is history. But anyway, she said that she was the one that was going to be on the show off of the fame of Flavor of Love that she was on, and then she's the one that told Mona and them that she could bring on Scrappy. And I guess because Scrappy was an Atlanta rapper, him being in what's the fucking name of y'all know the rap group that he was in, she felt like that would be good. And so apparently the way that she tells the story is that they brought Scrappy in, and she thought it was going to be her and Scrappy's story, but then Scrappy, through the back door, let Bucky and her hair tell it, ended up bringing Erica and Diamond about, and Mama D, and that she didn't know all those other people were going to be on there. Now, I do believe that Scrappy would do some shit like that, because he just seems like the type to do that. But then I was just like, how is this? Because when the show first came out, there was a whole lot of talk about Diamond. That's all you heard about, is Scrappy was with Diamond and all. But then when he ended up being on the show, it was Erica. I don't think Diamond even came on the show, because Diamond was going to be on the show as well. But then when she saw that the drama was going on with Erica, I think Diamond pulled out. And so then it was just Scrappy and Erica. There was never really any mention of Bucky and her hair. But you guys know my memory is old and fucked up, and so I can't remember exactly. But Bucky and her hair wasn't on that first season, was she? I can just really remember when she came on the second season, like at the beginning of the second season, I remember them kind of bringing her about. Or it may not, was it even the second season? I mean, I guess I could go back and watch my videos, but I don't feel like it. So one of you guys can just tell me, was that girl on the first season? Because I was like, damn, if she wasn't even on the first season, he done got her pushed all the way out the show when she was supposed to be on the show, and they decided to expand on the dynamic between Scrappy, his mama, and his baby mama, and she got fully pushed out. I was just like, I wonder if I believe this story or not. But she was talking, she was just like, yeah, ask him. He'll tell you. I was just like, Scrappy ain't gonna confirm that. Scrappy ain't gonna confirm that. So I wonder if that really is true. And if it is, that's too bad. Like, even though Bucky and her hair ended up on the show, and, we all know who she is now. But I just didn't remember hearing about Bucky and her hair. I always heard about Diamond, and I always remembered Erica. Like, those were the two women that he was dealing with. And Bucky and her hair, she really must have, if she was messing around with Scrappy, he wasn't taking her serious enough to feel like he wanted to pull her on that show. Now, she might have felt like they was best friends, and now they messing around and everything, but he obviously didn't feel the same way about her, because why not bring her on as an addition of the mess? You was already talking about the mess with, Diamond and Erica and your mom. So why not have Bucky and her hair been on there? So yeah, I'm just like, see, that's what the whole thing, boy. That's Scrappy. I don't know what he got going on, child. But that Scrappy got the women just all want to be with Scrappy, don't they? Don't they all want to be with him, child? Let them tell it. So yeah, anyway, that was interesting. But yeah, I need you guys to refresh my memory on that, because I was just like, I just do not remember any talk about Bucky and her hair until the next season. Because I even tried to think of the reunion. Because I remember talking about her at the reunion for the second season, I believe. Because that's when we came up with the name Bucky and her hair. Because she would always have all that fucking hair in her head, y'all. But y'all refresh me. Let me know. I need to get off of here. All right, you guys, that's it. Let me get off here, run in here, get my food. Child just extended this lunch a little too long, okay? We do this every single week, Tuesdays and Fridays, you guys, except for this week. So make sure that you thumbs up the video, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back.